Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. We're going to be talking about the 5-2 diet today. I think the 5-2 diet, there's a diet where you eat like normally for 5 days and then you fast like 2 days out of the week. It's a great diet for the summertime, because you're going out a lot in the summertime, got a lot of different things going on. It's a really flexible diet, which I really do like. And actually, interesting, I was just live on Instagram telling everyone to jump on over to the YouTube channel because I have all the slides when I do this. Let me get everything going. Also, let me know if the sound and everything is good. This is one of the first times I was able to start right on time because I think everything worked. I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I hope that's not a bad omen. Normally, I can't get the sound on this or that going, so let's see how it goes. I've done a similar other presentation like this on the 5-2 diet. I kind of like it around this time of the year because you have so much flexibility. But let's talk about exactly what we're going to cover today. Christina, looking forward to hearing from you. Oh, thanks, Christina. I appreciate it. All right, who else we got? Oh, that's great. Cool. Excellent. Of course, Chris is here too. Good morning, Matt. The sound is really good, better than normal. Thanks. I know I'm back to my my more expensive, like my better interface that wasn't working, and I think I got it working. So I'm glad you think the sound is really good. Oh, great. Thanks so much for showing up. This is cool, Jess. Yeah, can't wait. All right, really cool. And I'm surprised people, I'm sure surprising that I'm starting on time. I can't believe everything worked. Okay, so this is what we're going to cover today. The 5-2 diet, easy, flexible fat loss program. I know you guys may have heard me talk about this before. I did a similar presentation maybe about 6 months ago. But we're going to go over exactly what the 5-2 diet is. Then we'll talk about why I think it works so well in the summertime. Because the summertime is the most challenging, I think, time of the year. There's so many different parties and barbecues. I got so many things going on this weekend. My wife's birthday is July 4th. I got a lot of people coming over. I'm actually working tomorrow, but I'm going out tonight. I'm going out tonight with a couple. Okay, my friend Bill. He doesn't watch these live streams though, so I can mention his name. I know he won't mind. He hired me in 1984. And we ran this gym together. It was it was unreal. I really worked for him. I shouldn't say we ran it together, but I was really involved in starting up this gym. It was actually in Scarsdale, New York. You have that Steely Dan song they talk about Scarsdale. Scarsdale's like an affluent neighborhood in Westchester. And I remember going on this job interview. I was still in college, or maybe I think I was graduating that year. And he handed me this test. This insane test. But I did great on the test, because I knew all this stuff. But I was so surprised. Other people were showing up for the, for the job interview. And this is before personal training really existed. This is when you were just a floor training, meaning that you just it was an incredible job. You walk around the gym, you just help people. This is pre-personal training, and so many people showed up. He handed them the test, and they just left because it was like a crazy test. He was a great guy, Bill. So I haven't seen them in a while. I'm going to see them tonight. Hey, Keith, you jumped over from Instagram. This is great. That's great. Excellent. I'm so glad you did it. Love you live. I appreciate it. This is great. So it made sense for me to go live on Instagram for a little bit. We drank an entire bottle of wine last night with wife. I know. I know. It's that time of year, the summertime. I'm trying to go alcohol free, and I've been doing okay with it. But I don't know if I'm going to make July 4th. It's going to be pretty challenging. Happy early birthday to your wife. My birthday was... Hey, happy birthday, Chris. Really cool. That's great. I love these stuff. My birthday's in August, to the end of August. Alpha Talis here, too, from the UK. Really cool. Okay, so let's get back on topic. Okay, so we're going to talk about why it works so well in the summer. Then I'm going to give you 3 different options. So I wanted to give someone, like new people, a real easy way to do it. Then we're going to get a little bit more aggressive, and then the third way is my favorite way of doing the 5-2 diet, where you're eating in my style of eating. But if you're completely new to it, you can get a lot of benefit and get into a calorie deficit, not changing your diet at all. That's why I think the 5-2 diet really is a nice option. And then I also think it's a great way, and this is something I'm thinking about Chris a little bit. This is even a great way to just stay at maintenance. Let's say you've been aggressively dieting, you've been doing maybe OMAD or alternate day fasting, or maybe just doing my classic 16-8 2MAD plus a protein shake. You've been in a calorie deficit, you've been cycling in and out of a deficit, you reach your goal weight, and you're afraid of gaining the weight back. The 5-2 diet, I think, is a really good option long term, because 5 days out of the week, you can kind of eat normally, then go into a calorie deficit 2 days to maintain the weight loss. And then we'll do a Q&A. We'll do a Q&A during the whole thing. but I'll give you some specific meal examples. Let's see. Yeah, your Italian wine runs through your blood. I know. I hear you. I hear you on that. Are you a Leo? No, I'm a Virgo. Actually, I'm right on the cusp there. I'm a Virgo. That's funny. Hey, Victoria, thanks for showing up. I'm just a person that needs help. Needs help to diet. Sounds good, Victoria. I'm glad you're here. You're gonna find this helpful. The 5-2 diet. You're an inspiration. Oh, this guy's being so. I love these kind words. I'm a nutritionist keto coach from India. Oh, fantastic. That's good. You're playing. Obviously, you know more about the keto diet than I do. Then that's great. So anything you got to say, contribute to the group. It'll be great. Jeff's here. Great to see you. I'm starting the 5-2 diet this week. I know Jeff does the 5-2 diet on and off throughout the year, which I think it's a great plan. Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, really simply, I'm going to put my phone back on because sometimes I miss messages. Okay, so real simply, what is the 5-2 diet? It's a diet where 5 days out of the week you eat normally, and I'll define what I mean by eating normally as we go. But it's pretty much however you're eating, right? You're not changing your diet. You're eating the same meal frequency, the same amount of food 5 days out of the week. But then 2 days out of the week, you're going to dramatically reduce calories. And what the research has shown, I should say research, I read a whole bunch of studies about the 5-2 diet, and it actually works. The studies were pretty positive because people can stay on this diet. That was my big takeaway from the studies. So 2 days out of the week, you reduce your calories by 75%. Some people like to be really aggressive and do like a 24-hour fast 2 days a week, but I like the idea of just eating 25% of your normal calories. And if you can do it on consecutive days, but I think it's a lot easier to do it on non-consecutive days. So for example, say Monday would be a low-calorie day. And then maybe you would do a low-calorie day on Friday, and then you've got the rest of those 5 days to pretty much eat your normal diet. So for example, let's say you're eating 2,500 calories typically. That's your 5 days a week. 2 days out of the week, you're only going to be eating 625 calories. So what you might want to do is use MyFitnessPal. I talk about that app all the time. It's a free app. Track and let's assume you're not gaining or losing weight. Okay, let's say you're at baseline, right? You're at maintenance calories. My general rule for maintenance calories for most people is take your body weight, multiply that by 15. That's a pretty good estimate. But let's say you track how many calories you're eating for like 3 or 4 days, even a couple days. You can even just do 1 day, right? Then reduce that by 75%. So if you're eating 2,500 calories 2 days out of the week, you're going to be eating only 625. If it's 2,000 calories, that will be 500 calories 2 days out of the week. I think we got some more questions. No cheating on keto. Okay, sounds like, hey, Alexandra, thanks for showing up. The 5-2 diet always seems like a great way to maintain weight loss, not to lose weight. I really think you could do it both ways, Alexandra. I think it's a great way to maintain this, but if you can get into a calorie deficit 2 days out of the week and then stay at baseline, just think every 3,500 calories is a pound. I know it's not that simple. It gets a little more complex. But if you're gonna be reducing your calories by I know you're on a relatively lower calorie diet, but if you can reduce calories by 1,500, right, 2 days out of the week, that's almost a pound of weight loss per week, which is pretty good, which I think is great. Okay, so OMAD 2 days, kind of like that. You can do it, but I'm gonna break it down. Or you can do it. The easy way to do it is you can have a few small meals, but I'm gonna break it down and give you all the different options. Okay, so let's go over. Oh, that's my other camera angle. I like to use this camera angle now and then because I love looking at Frank Zane, my favorite bodybuilder, behind me, which is really cool. Okay, let's see. This is Jess. What would be the best diet to lose 100 pounds fast and safe? I mean, you can do something like this. The whole thing, in general, if you've been following me a little bit, you have to be in a calorie deficit, right, to lose weight. You have to eat an adequate amount of protein because when you're losing weight, you want to maintain your muscle mass. Plus, protein is incredibly satisfying. I think it's the easiest way to stay into a calorie deficit is if you're eating an adequate amount of protein. And I always like to throw fiber in there. If you eat 30, 35 grams of fiber a day, it guarantees you and me that you're eating healthy foods like vegetables and fruits. I love animal protein, chicken, fish, and meat. If you keep your calories in line, so in your case, I would take away, let's say you're 300 pounds and you want to weigh 200, you want to lose 100 pounds, right? I would multiply your weight by 10. So eat 3,000 calories a day. I love cycling too. You can maybe eat 3,000 calories one day, 2,500 calories the next day. Keep on doing that. Eat an adequate amount of protein. Multiply your goal weight by 0.7 and do that for 6 weeks. Be in a calorie deficit for 6 weeks. You're going to lose a lot of weight in 6 weeks. If you have to lose 100 pounds, you go on a diet like that. You can be in 6 weeks, you can be 15 pounds lighter, like literally. Then I want you to take a diet break for 2 weeks. Eat maintenance calories. Eat a little bit more. It's good for your metabolism. You don't want to be in an aggressive calorie deficit for too long. It's called metabolic adaptation. It can mess you up. Then go back into that calorie deficit. Keep on repeating that. And and you can use any strategy that you want to reduce calories. See, that's my main thing when it comes to fasting and intermittent fasting. I do think there are health benefits to keeping insulin levels low. Like, we have a keto coach here with us. He'll tell you, yes, insulin levels low, and there's so many hormone benefits to eating like very low carb. Like a keto diet is almost like a fasting mimicking diet to some degree. And there are a lot of benefits to fasting, but I would use any strategy that fits into your lifestyle, whether it's what we're talking about today, 5-2 or 16-8 or alternate day fasting or OMAD. You want to use all these different strategies to get you into that calorie deficit, but you also want to eat an adequate amount of protein and take in good nutrition. So you have flexibility, but calorie deficit for 6 weeks, adequate amount of protein, good fiber, take a break. Okay, but you can do it with this 5-2 diet for sure. Nice, Les Paul. Yeah, no, thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm falling behind on my guitar. It's funny that couple I was talking about, my friend Bill. He's an incredible guitarist. He has like 200 guitars. I'm not exaggerating. He's obsessed. He buys guitars off of eBay like every single week. He only buys Japanese guitars off of eBay. Strats. He's a Strat. He's not a Gibson guy. And I have been playing. I'm not a good player. I like to fool around with it. Good for my brain. It relaxes me a little bit. But lately, I haven't had any time. I've been so busy, and I've been talking about this. I'm putting together this whole new coaching program. So I got to film like another 100 exercise videos. So I've been really obsessed with that. Is water fasting 2 times a week good? It can be, Jess. That's real aggressive. Like it would be kind of like when I'm talking today, but instead of on those 2 days eating 25% of your calories, you're just water fasting. I think it's great. If you can do it, great. But once again, I wouldn't, still take a diet break every 6 weeks and get away from it. The only thing that concerns me at the water fasting, if you do 2 consecutive days, is I wouldn't do it on the same day. Split it up. Unless you want to get into ketosis. I always worry about losing muscle mass with those aggressive water fasts. Like I did a 3-day fast a couple times. I don't think I'll ever do it again. Even Peter Attia talks about it a lot now. He used to do a lot of aggressive water fasting, and he got away from it. And he feels he's more muscular now, and he's maintaining his muscle mass a lot better. But I think it's fine. Okay. Can you work out on OMAD days? Seems it might be difficult. You can, but what I like to do whenever I'm doing, like today is my OMAD day. I do OMAD 1 day a week on Sundays because first of all, I'm doing this live stream. I'm fasting now still. I'm drinking I overdid it today. This is probably my 3rd cup of espresso. And then after this live stream, I go for a walk. I go to the park. I'm going to walk for at least 45 minutes, maybe 90. It depends. The weather's so, see how it goes. And then I break my fast. And I only eat 1 big meal on a Sunday because I'm doing it late tonight because I'm meeting this couple. So on a day like that, I just walk. But I'm doing so much resistance training the other days during the week when I'm doing more like a 16-8 or an 18-6 that it's fine. If you're doing OMAD consistently, I do want you to do resistance training, The negative thing about OMAD, even though I love OMAD, is taking in enough protein. If you do OMAD every single day, I wouldn't do it for too long because it's hard to take in enough protein. That's why I like 2MAD. Plus a protein bar, protein shake. I even like OMAD with 1 little meal. Instead of doing a classic 23-hour fast with a 1-hour eating window, sneak in a protein shake. It's not going to mess you up too bad just to make sure you're keeping your protein up. Or you can do OMAD intermittently, which is great. Like me, you do it once a week, do it twice a week, which is similar to the 5-2, right? Okay. Sunday fasting, do people like that? Yeah, no, I like it. It works. Okay, so let's go over This is why I think the 5-2 diet works so good in the summer. That's why I like to do it this time of the year, because it gives you so much flexibility. Like, there are barbecues. You might be drinking beer in the summer when you typically would, and things like that. There seems to just be more parties. Like they say, we got 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. People vacation. They take their beach trips. You might be not eating that great. So it really gives you flexibility, because you can do that 5 days, and then 2 days out of the week, you're going to tighten up your calories. So like Alexandra, you can say you can be in maintenance. So that means you can go through the entire summer not gaining any weight. But if you want to lose weight, you can be a little more aggressive on those 2 fasting days. And we're going to go into that. But I think it's such an easy way to reduce calories. I've had clients, especially I've had guys, because I kind of had men in mind for this 5-2 diet a little bit today, who, they just can't change their diet. They're so set in their ways. And like maybe they drink beer pretty regularly, almost every night, and they just, they love their hamburgers and their French, like, steak and potato type guys. And I just can't, I've worked with these guys over the years. I just couldn't get them to eat, like to improve their diet. But I find that by telling them, eat what you want for 5 days, but then 2 days out of the week, just really cut back, just cut back on your calories. They do well with that. So I like this diet for that, especially this summertime. Let's see. So we got Harry. Hey Harry, how you doing? Mike, forgot you were on. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know, maybe you missed the notice, but thanks for showing up, Harry. I appreciate it. Hey, thanks, Alexandra. Alexandra always gives me a super chat pretty much every week. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, this is Alexandra. I'm struggling to lose weight by just cutting my calories by 500 calories every day. Maybe the 5-2 diet would be a good idea. I would try it, Alexander, because I know you did the real aggressive calorie restriction. You lost some weight. Now you've been kind of like in maintenance mode for a little bit. I think it can work for you. But in your case, when we get to these 3 different options, I'd want you to do the most aggressive, the healthiest one, where you're really cleaning up your whole diet. So really on that day when you're only eating 500 calories, I still want you to take in a good amount of protein. You know what I mean? Like, I would want you to eat as much protein as you possibly can, and maybe do like an OMAD 2 days out of the week. But we'll talk about it. That's going to be like step number 3. And maybe take in 75 grams of protein if you can, or at least 50 grams. Have an 8-ounce piece of salmon, with a whole bunch of vegetables and maybe 1 fruit, and do that and keep it under 500 calories. I would try that. I think that could possibly really work for you. I say, okay, I'm diabetic. I'm afraid to do a fast because I'm scared of my blood sugar going too low. Low blood sugar are worse. And I know. Now, are you type 1 diabetic? Is that why you're saying that, as opposed to type 2? Maybe you're type 1 diabetic. Let me know. But hey, all these things, check with your doctor, right? Run it by your doctor, your healthcare provider, see what they think. But if you're type 2 diabetic like Chris, we reverse type 2 diabetes. Just eating a low-carb diet, doing all these intermittent fasting strategies. He did alternate day fasting. He did 16A. He did it all. He's like, oh my God, he looks like 65 pounds. It was just life transforming. But if you're type 1 diabetic, you gotta be careful with the low blood sugar, obviously. Even type 2. But check with your doctor. You are type 2. Okay, so let me pull that up. You're type 2. I think you can do really well with it. But obviously check with your doctor. Ease into it. All these things. Like a 16-8, maybe you want to do something like a 16-8. You fast for 16 hours, taking all your calories with an 8-hour eating window, eat relatively low carb, good nutrition. It's so much better than the typical American diet. It's not that aggressive. And you'll see how you feel about it. See how you feel, how you react. You don't have to do these aggressive things like OMAD or alternate day or even 5-2. Even if you did the 5-2 diet, you can spread out those calories throughout the day as opposed to doing an OMAD. But we're going to talk about OMAD. Let's see what Jeff's got today. Jeff. Okay, so he's talking to someone else. That's great. Okay. This is Chris. I was a diabetic as well as okay, this is Chris. Let me slow down. I was a diabetic as well, and fasting has reversed diabetes with proper nutrition. So, like I said, right, Chris was a type 2 diabetes. He reversed it all with fasting and good nutrition. You really can do it. You really can do it. Hey, thanks for showing up. Healthy Hollow. Hey, Mike, I've lost a lot of weight by fasting, mostly OMAD. So OMAD stands for 1 meal a day. I'm very lean and toned, but my veins are very visible. I hate this. I get comments from, not sure what to do. I mean, I like, when you can see someone's veins. Like, I love seeing the veins in my arm, and I think it's good blood flow. When I take those nitric oxide enhancers like beetroot, L-citrulline, it, makes your veins pop a little bit. If you don't like that, I can't say there's anything in particular. I think it's just good that you're lean. I'm sorry about that. I think a lot of people, I bet more people like it. Remember the Terminator? The gal, I forget her name. I just watched that documentary about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Really interesting. It's a 3-part series on Netflix. I really found it enjoyable. I have mixed feelings about him, but I was a big fan of him, many years ago. And remember the gal, the blonde, I forget her name. She showed up for the Terminator 2 in incredible shape, and they were saying, look at the veins in her arms and everything. I find it attractive. I think it's a nice thing. If you don't like it, I don't know. It's interesting. There used to be like a bodybuilding hack. No one really does it that much anymore. Years ago, and we're back to the red wine. Like, guys would drink a little bit of red wine, like have a shot of red wine before they went on stage, and it felt like it made them vasodilated, made them a little more like veiny, more vascular looking, Let's see. Hey, Nicholas is here. Hey, Nicholas, thanks for showing up. 5-2 helped me massively. Definitely the best diet for me. That's great. I like the 5-2 diet. I really do too. This is Nicholas again. Juicy is Nicholas. I don't know why I look leaner when I have a really hot shower. Hard to say. Maybe, you just, you're in the shower, you're looking at yourself, hard to say. Okay, so let's go over option number 1. This is the least aggressive. This is what I'm talking about, or maybe the guys or gals who just, you want to lose some weight. Maybe you've been struggling for a long time. You have such a hard time getting rid of those trigger foods and getting rid of all your favorite foods that you just love to eat. You can still do pretty good, I think, on this 5-2 diet. So, for example, like, you're not going to change your diet. But like we talked about earlier, 2 days out of the week, you're going to dramatically reduce the amount of calories. So you're going to have to count calories 2 days out of the week. And like I said, I would use MyFitnessPal. There's other ones like Chronometer. If you're still old school and you want to look things up, you really can do that too. But 5 days out of the week, eat all your favorite foods, do whatever you want. But 2 days out of the week, count calories. Use the MyFitnessPal, use one of those things, and don't go above 25% of your normal calories. Do that. But you still can eat whatever you want. So if you're that guy or gal who is typically eating 2,500 calories, you've got 625 calories to eat anything you want. And that's going to put you in a good calorie deficit. That's, like I said, it's about 15. Is that more than 15? It's almost 17, 1,800 calories. I mean, just from that alone, you're going to lose a pound a week. I think you're going to lose a lot more because you're going to be depleting glycogen. And it's such an easy way to do it. And you didn't really change your diet. You just had 2 sacrifice days. Plus, first of all, there's a tremendous psychological advantage. Once you prove to yourself that you can eat so low calorie for 2 days, it's going to build your confidence. It's going to carry over into the 5 days when you're eating normal. I'm telling you, it will. You're going to eat less. Plus, I do believe in that concept of like your stomach shrinking a little bit. You have 2 low-calorie days within the week. You're going to shrink your stomach a little bit. That normal day comes the next day, you're not going to eat as much as you think. You really won't. So there's multiple benefits, I think, to this 5-2 diet. And this is the easiest way to do it if you don't want to change your diet. Try it like that. Let's see, we got a couple more questions. Hey, John, we got Big John here. I'm watching. Great show. Thanks, John. Thanks for showing up. Hey, Gwen, thanks for showing up too. I've tried 5-2, but on the days after the fast, I would eat too much because I was so hungry. Again, I know that could happen too. I mean, hey, I find that people don't necessarily do that as much though. But it can, obviously it can happen. I mean, maybe you should do the 5-2 with 2 consecutive days then. Like tough it out, do 2 days of low calories so you get that benefit, you deplete glycogen, and then maybe you'll just have 1 day. I think, Gwen, in your case, I think it's more of a psychological thing. And maybe like the whole day, like you're suffering with that like low calorie days. I can't wait till tomorrow. You got to try to think a little differently. Maybe you can try 2 consecutive days and see. I'm not sure, but you can try it. Let's see, Nicholas. Okay, hey Mike, what are your opinion on calcium supplements for reaching my maximum potential height? Nah, I wouldn't be concerned about that, Nicholas. I do want you eating. You can take them if you want. I don't think there's really any downside necessarily to taking. It's hard to absorb calcium. I would want you eating just a good healthy diet, you know, calcium rich type foods. I mean, eat your dairy, eat your Greek yogurt. If you want to drink milk, you can do whey protein. You know, eat your broccoli, which has a decent amount of calcium. And I would just eat a good, but it's really important, like now in your young years, that's when most people, especially women, absorb their calcium. When you're younger. When you're older, it's hard. You know, you're building your bones, you're building your body. You know, it's important to just eat really healthy and take in good nutrition, for sure. Right, Harry. Linda Hamilton. That's the Terminator gal. There you go. Harry's like a trivia expert, which is great. Okay. Alicia, let's see. Where do you start? I'm 53 years old, 256 pounds, 5'3". So I'm obviously you want to lose some weight. I'm a lady dump truck driver. So maybe you have, you know, that's a physical job. You're driving, you know, you're moving around, you're driving the dump truck. So maybe calorie wise, you're burning some calories. I work 5 to 7 days a week for 30 minutes. I swim up to 3 days a week, half a mile. So you got a nice active lifestyle. The whole issue with you is going to be your, I'm assuming it's going to be your diet. So this is what I would do. I would take your body weight, which is 256 pounds. I would multiply that by 10. So you want to eat, this is like right for you, this 5'2", or really calories. You want to eat about 2,500 calories a day. At 5'3", I don't know what your goal weight is. Let's say you want to weigh 175, right? I love the cycling calories. I've done a video on this, what I'm going to tell you right now, that got like 1 million views on Instagram and TikTok. 1 million. I think I'm about 1.2 million views. And this is the whole plan. Okay. I wish I can just pause this comment. I'm going to keep my finger on the whole day. So multiply your body weight by 10, 2,500 calories one day. Then I like to say multiply your goal weight by 10 for the second day. So let's say you want to weigh 175. So day 1, you eat 2,500 calories. Okay. Day 2, you eat 1,750 calories. So you're going to have to track calories. You want to be in a calorie deficit. Use MyFitnessPal. The next thing I would want you to do, I'm going to use my calculator now on the phone, is I want you to make sure you're eating an adequate amount of protein. So let's take your goal weight. Okay, let's take 175 times 0.7. I'm going to want you to eat a minimum of 122 grams of protein a day. Okay, every 4 ounces of chicken, fish, or meat is about 25 grams. So if you had like 8 ounces of steak or of salmon or of chicken, that's going to be 50 grams. Okay, so if you did that, then and the other thing I'd love you to do with the calories, right, is to fast for 16 hours every day. Then within your 8-hour eating window, eat 2 meals. Okay, one meal is going to have 8 ounces of protein, chicken, fish, and meat. The second meal is going to have 8 ounces of protein, chicken, fish, and meat. That's going to bring you at about 100 grams of protein. And then in between those 2 meals, have a protein bar, protein shake. Okay, so there's your plan. You're going to be in a calorie deficit, 2,500 calories one day, 1,750 the next. Every day, though, you're going to eat 125 grams of protein. You're going to fast for 16 hours if you can. A lot of people like to skip breakfast, so you wake up in the morning, drink a lot of water. You can squeeze lemon in water, drink your coffee, your tea, whatever you like. You have your first meal, let's say 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock, high in protein, right? Protein bar, protein shake, 2, 3 o'clock. Last meal, 6, 7 o'clock. Do that for 6 weeks. You're going to lose a ton of weight in 6 weeks. You're going to be in a good calorie deficit. Then I would want you to take a 2-week diet break where you eat more. You don't have to torture yourself. Go to maintenance calories. Instead of eating 2,500 calories, you can go eat like 3,000 calories for 2 weeks. You don't have to do the 16-8 or the 2-MAD. You can go back to your 3 meals a day. Keep repeating that until you get to 175 pounds. It will work. I mean, there might be some hormonal things going on with you at 53, menopause, things like that. If your blood work is good, if you're dealing with your doctor, and they say, you know, your thyroid's working okay and hormonally everything's good for you, you're going to lose a lot of weight because you're active as can be. You know, definitely just start. It's hard to start in the summer. I know the summer's a little bit more challenging, but if you're motivated, do it. And I'm here every Sunday. I'll keep it going. You can email me, whatever. Leave comments under my videos, but do it, Alicia. You can do it. I'm telling you, you can. Here's Alexandra. Okay. So for those 25% calories, should it be all protein? In your case, really high protein. You'll see, like right now, we're looking at like fasting option 1. When I get to fasting option 3, that's more for you, Alexandria. Yes, I'm going to want you to take in mostly protein. You know, so if you're at like 500 calories, you have a nice like 8-ounce piece of salmon, that'll give you 50 grams of protein. That's going to be around 350, 400, and maybe have a little bit of broccoli with it, right? An 8-ounce piece of salmon and 1 serving of broccoli. That's what you're having on those 2 days of the week. Doesn't have to be salmon. It could be chicken. You know, you want about 8 ounces of protein, and go lean. I mean, don't eat like bacon or fatty cuts of meat. You know, lean meat. You know, I like the omega-3s in salmon, like things like that. Like typically, like some of those smaller meals that I post on Instagram. Okay, here's Nicholas again. Okay, can I just do 2 simple bicep exercises in one workout, 30 minutes, 3 days a week, just 2 exercises with progressive overload, not trying to... You can do that. No, I like that. You can do that. Yeah, definitely, Nicholas. Okay, we got Tony GT69. I love those GT69s. It's a great, beautiful car. Hey, Mike, I practice OMAD plus keto. One day of 2, I do weight training. Okay, the other day I do fasting. So he does fasted cardio. One day he does weight training, then he does fasted cardio. I love that. It's been 2 to 3 months, and I can't get rid of the fat. I control my macros. Like, I don't know why. It's interesting. I did one video on the keto diet. I mean, the keto coach, this would be interesting. Saying about just the fact that you're in ketosis doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose weight. Most people do when you go on a ketogenic diet, and especially when you do OMAD, because you're aggressively restricting calories. But if you're eating a tremendous amount of fat, like if you're doing more of one of those ketogenic diets where you're just like chasing the fat, you're putting butter on everything, mayonnaise, you know what I mean? Like you're really trying to get all your calories from fat, even though you will burn more fat when you do that because you become a fat burner, you become fat adapted, but calories still count. So it's kind of like the fat flex people say. If you're consuming, like if fat's going into the fat cell on one side, going out of the fat cell on the other, but you're eating a tremendous amount of calories, you may not lose weight. Plus, the other thing about the keto diet that concerns me a little bit, especially with all the exercise you're doing, if you're doing traditional type clinical keto where you're really getting like extremely low fat, like some people do a very, very low protein too, because they don't want the protein spiking insulin, blah, blah, blah. I would, in your case, I would make sure that you're taking in enough protein. And that's also hard to do with the OMAD diet. So this is what I would rather you do, Tony, and I don't want to mess you up, because it seems like you're a fitness guy, you're working out like crazy. If you feel like you're not getting rid of that fat, I'd rather you do more like a 2MAD, which is more sustainable, 2 meals a day. First of all, get your calories in line. Start tracking your calories, see where you're at. See how much protein you're eating, see what everything. I definitely would want you to eat enough protein, for sure, because if you need protein to put on muscle, to maintain muscle, you do. Plus, protein has a high stomach effect. You may want to reduce your fat calories to some degree, replace them with more protein, and then it's hard to take in enough protein doing OMAD. You can do it intermittently, fine, like I'm doing it just 1 day a week. I'd rather you stick to more of a 2MAD type approach, just to get enough protein in your system. Like go with that formula, like multiply your body weight by 0.7. That should be the minimum amount of protein I think you should eat if you're lifting weights like that, and see how you do. I don't know if your main purpose of doing the ketogenic diet is to be constantly in ketosis. I kind of like to dip in and out of mild ketosis from time to time because I eat a relatively low-carb diet, but try that, Tony. Try it for a few weeks. You can always go back to the OMAD keto. I think you're going to feel a lot better, too, with 2MAD. I even think 2MAD with a protein bar, protein shake. I mean, that's my go-to diet for most people. People kill it on that diet. And I've tried everything. I've been doing this 35 years. And that's what I've really settled into the last few years is 16-8 2MAD plus a protein shake. Healthy eating, high protein diet. I love it. Let's see, Alicia. Surprisingly, hey, Alicia, that's great. I mean, hey, if your blood work and numbers are good, all you got to do is get into a calorie deficit like I explained, and you're going to be killing it. I mean, you're going to lose some weight. If you want to lose some weight, that's what I'm saying. If you're healthy and you're happy with the weight, but you ask the question, I would never tell someone to lose weight if they're healthy and they're happy, But if you want to lose weight, you can do it, for sure. Let's see. I normally have a Premier protein shake in the mornings, and that will normally fill me up until lunchtime. That sounds good. I like the Premier protein. I think that's a whey protein, right? Or maybe a milk protein. That sounds good. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate this. I'm ready to change my life for the good. Sounds good, Alicia. Let me know. Keep in touch. Let me know how you're doing. Sophia, what do you think about alternate? Yeah, no, I love alternate day fasting. Chris has done that. He's done incredible. I like it. That's that. If people don't know ADF, alternate day fasting, you fast for 36 hours. So it's almost like a day and a half. Then you have a 12-hour eating window where you take in all your calories. I like that. Aggressive, and you can lose a lot of weight by it, but you really got to eat good nutrition and a ton of protein during that 12-hour fasting. I like this more intermittently or short term. I mean, that you do it for a few weeks. I wouldn't go beyond 6 weeks. Like I said, you really lose a ton of weight. Then you go back to like a couple of meals a day, a 16-8 type thing, or maybe even just 3 meals a day, because you don't want to aggressively be in a calorie deficit for too long. Plus, it's really hard, I think, to take in enough nutrition if you're doing alternate day fasting every day for somewhat indefinite periods of time. Now, some people do these things for months on end, for years. And then you reach a point where you're malnourished and you're just not getting any vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. You're not getting enough. The big one is protein. Hard to take in enough protein. Alternate fasting consistently for weeks on end. I really like that 6-week rule. After 6 weeks, get out of a calorie deficit, at least for a week. Oh, thanks a lot, Chris, Ali, they're always giving me super chats. I really appreciate it, Chris. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I really, really enjoyed your short videos this week on Instagram. Oh, thanks. I walked 6 more extra miles last week because of your influence. Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, I've been trying to really hit this. It's all the social media stuff. It's work. I mean, I started doing a little bit more of what like Ari Vaynerchuk would tell you to do. Like I started documenting my days a little bit more, and I do a lot of walking. And people really like it. Some of those, like the videos, I know Chris always gives me a heart or likes my stuff. Sometimes I get 1,200 people look at my little, like what I've been doing now is like I've been documenting my day. So like I go take a walk at maybe like 6 in the morning along the Hudson River in the park. Then I come back to my gym and I'll train a couple of people. Then I'll do my resistance training. So I've been kind of explaining to people how I live my life, like the day in the life of a fitness trainer type of thing. And people really like it. So I appreciate that. And that's exactly what I want people to do. I'm not like I'm trying to say, oh, I want people to like, I want to be like, so I want to, like set an example. And people say, let me take a walk today. Look at Mike. The guy walked twice today. And like typically on Wednesdays, because I do resistance training, like I generally do a classic split. I train my upper body on Mondays, hit, high intensity aerobics and legs on Tuesday. And then Wednesday is like a day off day, but I don't consider it a day off because I walk 3 times typically on a Wednesday. I walk in the morning for 45 minutes, in the afternoon for 45 minutes, then I do an evening walk, maybe 30 minutes, either on my treadmill or I go back to the park, depending upon, and I say the park is along the Hudson River. I walk in Croton, which is beautiful. I mean, I love it. It's good for my mental health. I mean, I absolutely love it. So Wednesday is like a mental health day for me, just like walking 3 times a day. And so many people, similar to Chris's comment, which I really love, always DM me and say, Mike, I took a walk today because of you. I got outside. And I always believe, I've been talking about this for a while now. I think just that whole circadian rhythm thing of getting sunlight first thing in the morning is just life-changing. I always talk about this guy, Andrew Huberman, that professor from Stanford. I think that's his singular most important thing he tries to like get across with all his research and all his studies. And he's a Stanford professor, right? With him, how to get a PhD, how to get smarter than a guy like that. He says, get that sunlight first thing in the morning. It sets your circadian rhythm, which affects every hormone, enzyme, cell within your body. Get outside. Even if you just got to drink your coffee outside in the morning for 10 minutes. When you wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, drink a glass of water, get your coffee, tea, drink it outside. Ideally, if you have time to take a walk, go outside for a walk. It's great. Thanks, Chris. So this is Jeff. I'm drinking my coffee with a little bit of protein shake in it. Oh, that sounds good. That's all I will have until 1 meal today in the afternoon. That's great. See, I like that a lot. See, so Jeff is like doing an OMAD day today, but he's still conscious of taking enough protein. Some people would say, okay, Jeff, you're breaking your fast. What are you doing? But hey, I think taking in like 25 grams of protein with your coffee, you get a little spike of insulin. The benefit is tremendously outweighing the fact that he's breaking his fast for 30 minutes. You're going to process that protein. I think you're much better off doing it. And I know Jeff is an active guy. He's a tennis player. He works out all the time. he's getting way more benefit from that little bit of spike in insulin from taking in that protein in the morning, I think. Okay, Tony GT69 again. Thank you for your reply. Always good advice. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. I'd love to see a picture of your car too. That'd be great. Okay, so let's go to option number 2. So this is a little bit. Let's say. I think Alexander's got another one here. Okay. So 2 MAD, a chicken breast, and vegetables in one meal, and protein shake for the second meal. I love it. I think that's great. That's great. But okay, now we're talking about on your low calorie day, right? Just make sure you don't go over those 500 calories. So for it's like two lean chicken, like a chicken breast, you should be okay. It should be pretty low with maybe a little broccoli. That'll be what, like 300 calories, 400, and then do like a 20 grams of protein, 100 calorie protein shake. That should be perfect 2 days out of the week. And then also, Alexander, when you're doing your normal 5 days, you still want to eat healthy and all that. But we're going to talk about that in slide number 3. Okay, so this is a little bit more of an aggressive way of doing the 5-2 diet, where 5 days out of the week you're eating normal, you're not changing your diet, but then you're really making an effort in those 2 days, those 2 low-calorie days, to really eat low carb. Maybe you want to dip into mild ketosis, only eat 2 meals, kind of a little bit of what Alexander's talking about. We're going to go more aggressive with her, though, and you're going to prioritize protein. Like I said, just make sure you're taking in enough protein. And then the third one, let's go right to number 3, because now we've been talking about it. So this is how I'd like everyone to do it. If they could do it, it's just, clean up your whole diet in general and start eating good and eating in my style of eating. So even with those 5 days, you want to eat a whole natural food diet, no junk food, healthy, meaning that you want to eat like I eat, or like I recommend people eat. You want to prioritize protein. You want vegetables, a whole bunch of vegetables, maybe a fruit or 2, low sugar fruits like the berries, the strawberries, the blueberries, the blackberries, things like that. Even an orange or something. 1 or 2 fruits a day. Right, you want to be somewhat conscious of the amount of calories you're eating, but you're still going to enjoy your life for 5 days out of the week. So you still can be maybe a little less than maintenance calories. Let's say like I said, say your maintenance calories are 2,500. Maybe you're at 23. Because you cleaned up your diet a little bit, you eliminated those junk foods. I always say make a list of your trigger foods, the foods that when you start eating you just can't stop. Get them out of the house. Tell everyone around you, don't bring me these foods. I always give the example, I love potato chips. My wife, when we first started dating, us living together, she'd bring me home potato chips. I liked them. I said, please, you just don't. Tell everyone around you. Just, so you're somewhat cleaning up your diet for the 5 days. You're eating a relatively low carb. I like 100 to 150 grams. For most people, that's a sweet spot. Someone like Alexandra, maybe a little less because she's smaller, maybe 100 grams. And then you really want to make sure you're taking enough protein even during those 5 days. The best way to do it, like the most scientific way, would be to know what your lean body weight is. It's kind of hard to figure that out. You can use, those calipers, the electrical impedance scales. You really need to go to a be water weighed. When I was in school, we used to weigh people in the water to determine exactly what their body fat is. 0.9 grams per pound of lean weight is ideal, but I like the short formula, 0.7 times body weight. I think you could even go 1 gram if you're working out. Like if, I do that. I eat a little less than 1 gram. I eat about 150 grams of protein every single day. But then on the 2 days when you're doing your fasting, really tighten it up. Don't eat more than 50 grams of carbs. Make it mostly protein, like Alexander's going to do. So this would be my preferred way of doing it. Okay, so 2 MAD chicken breast. We did that one. Let's see what Alexander's got to say on this one. Okay, Mike. Have you heard of Dr. Yes, she's great. She's the protein gal, right? The protein doctor. She says it's better 1 meal with 45 grams of protein rather than 3 meals with 15. I didn't hear her say that, but I know. Okay, I've heard her say something like that, and if she has a book, I'd like to read it. And I've seen her on multiple podcasts and things like that. What I think she meant, it says for the first meal of the day. Like for example, I've heard other people say this too. I think there was a doctor on Peter Attia's podcast talking about this too, how important like the first meal of the day and the last meal of the day is when it comes to protein. And this is what their thought process was. When you go to sleep, first, you're going to sleep. Obviously, you haven't eaten, say, 2-3 hours before bedtime. You go into repair mode and you're digesting all your food. When you wake up in the morning, you're somewhat protein deficient. Meaning that you want to go, that whole, like we talk about the mTOR, which is growth signaling, insulin growth factor, mTOR, like puts on muscle, where AMPK and sirtuins is more like recovery. So the first meal of the day, it's really important to load up on protein for protein synthesis to maintain muscle mass. That's why I was talking about early time restricted eating is probably better if you can fit it into your schedule, like taking protein 10, 11 o'clock, but then stop eating earlier in the evening. And you want a good amount of protein, like 15 grams. Why she's saying that is mostly like those branched chain amino acids, like leucine is the most important amino acid for putting on muscle and maintaining muscle mass. So is leucine, now I'm going like leucine, I can't think of the other two right now. It'll come to me. You want to take in like 3,000 milligrams, or at least 3,000 leucine, and you need a good amount of protein to do that. So it's important for that first meal of the day to take in, like she says, 45 grams of protein. 15 grams kind of wouldn't be enough, unless you're really petite, if you're like 90 pounds maybe. But if you're bigger, I take in 65 grams. That's typically what I take in. And but she would want you to do that 45 grams, not just once. She'd probably want you 45 grams, 2-3 meals a day like that 45 grams. And also, that's why it's just as important for the last meal of the day to be high in protein, because you're sleeping, you're repairing. So I think that's what she meant by that. I don't think she just meant 45 grams. She's a pretty big protein gal, and she really supports it. She's a smart gal. I'm not sure if she's a PhD. She might be an MD or a chiropractor. I'm not sure, but she does really well. And she's a big believer that people are protein deficient. I mean, I think she considers protein almost like, did she say an organ? She has a certain phrase about protein, just to show the importance of it. I'm not sure. Maybe like a hormone. I'm not sure. I don't want to talk nonsense because I'm not sure exactly. I know her, but I don't know her that well. But that was good. That was a good question, Alexander. I like that. All right, so we got that 5-2 diet down pretty good. Okay, let's go over, I'm just going to pull some meals up, like what I ate this week. These are the videos I've been making this week that Chris is talking about on Instagram. I made this week. And, my classic. I think I even had a video showing exactly how I make this. I just take lean meat. So many people ask me, Mike, what type of meat that was. And this is the most inexpensive. It said Angus beef on it. I must have had 24 people ask me, Mike, what type of steak is that? Like, exactly what it is. I'm not big on, like, is it round? Is it, the type of steak? It said on the package, Angus beef, so it's a good quality meat. It was sandwich steak. It was so cheap, like that whole serving, what I think was under $5. And I just fry it up in the pan with a little bit of olive oil, garlic powder, salt, pepper. That's it. It takes like 7 minutes to cook because it's so thin. I just love it. And I eat arugula almost every single day. That's my favorite microgreen. And I always talk about why I like it so. But first of all, low in oxalates as compared to something like spinach. And I've been a little conscious about how many oxalates I take in lately after reading that book. What was the name of that book? I think it was like toxic health food, something like that, talking about how oxalates are like really bad to take. So I've been a little conscious about how many oxalates. Arugula is very low, loaded with nitrates, which convert to nitric oxide within the body, which is great. Vasodilates blood vessels, great for blood flow. It gives you a great pump in the gym. I eat arugula almost every day just for that. Good for keeping blood pressure under control as well. And my typical avocado and blueberries. It's a classic easy meal. I literally make this start to finish 10 minutes. And I'm like, whenever the meat is cooking, that's when I make the salad. I pull it right out. I just released a video this morning on YouTube in the short showing how I make my salmon. It literally takes me like 7 minutes to prep it, and then I just bake this salmon for like 20-25 minutes. So, but unfortunately, guys and gals, you gotta cook. It's impossible to eat out healthy. It really is. They used to use the worst oils. You think you're getting olive oil, you're getting garbage. I mean, they put sugar. I mean, most of 80 and 85% of the time, you got to cook. You got to eat home. Simple meals. I mean, I'm not a chef, but you got to cook. I'm going to start doing my dinners, showing you guys my dinners. I don't really film the dinners as much because the lighting is not great in my house in the evening. Plus, I feel like I can't even enjoy a meal, right? I'm always filming every meal I make. It's kind of funny. This is the video I did showing exactly how I cooked this. And it's the same thing. So I just took a 9-ounce piece of salmon because I wanted about 60-65 grams of protein. Every 8 ounces of 50. So I went 9-10, gets me to 60-65. I take it in one of those those ceramic dishes. I put a little EVOO. I spin it to cover it with EVOO. I put garlic powder, Cajun, not Cajun. I use curry. I like turmeric. Good for reducing inflammation. Salt, pepper, a little garlic powder. While that's baking for 20 minutes, it took me like 2 minutes to prepare it. I take the arugula out of the container. I buy a container which is like about 150 grams. So I take 2/3, throw it in the bowl. I cut up an avocado. I'm really good at cutting up an avocado. Be careful not to cut yourself. Put it down, take the pit out. I have a video showing people how to open up an avocado. I think I got 50,000 views, which is kind of funny. Blueberries. Sometimes I put EVOO and balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I don't even. It takes 20-25 minutes in total, but the prep time is 6-7 minutes. Like it's so incredibly easy. Let's say, hey Victoria, I see you love salmon. I can't eat it. I like cod, shrimp, and sole. I'll try. That's great. I mean, any fish. I like the salmon because I want the omega-3s, the high in omega-3s. Omega-3s are those essential fatty acids that you have to get from your diet. Just like the essential amino acids, the proteins you have to get from your diet. I love salmon. I probably eat too much of it. I definitely have it 5 times a week. And I try to go wild whenever possible. And plus salmon, when it comes to the mercury and all that, is really low on the food chain. That's why I eat sardines constantly. Super low on mercury. I stopped eating swordfish and some of the other fishes because of the mercury. There's not that I eat so much fish. I lean more towards pescatarian, but I eat plenty of. I eat red meat too every couple of weeks, and I eat a ton of chicken thighs. I love. My son likes them so much. That's why we have them all the time, which is great. Hey Chris, another super chatter. Hey, you're just being so nice to me. This is great. Okay, let's see. This is Chris. My friend lives on the Jersey Shore. That's pretty close to me. 1 hour from your gym. Wow. He was asking me if you could go live on Instagram more and lives during the week. So okay, I will do that. I want to start doing that more. And I don't want to like discourage the gals, but I think Chris knows I've been working with these guys. They want me to focus. They want me to niche down my whole business and deal more with people like maybe 50 and over and things like that. So, and I'm going to be much more active on Instagram too. The only thing what bothers me about Instagram is that I like, like these slides have two purposes. One purpose is it shows everyone, they follow along better. Plus it helps me because I feel like these slides are notes for me. I don't really like that much when people go live and just like talk nonsense and just like, oh, how you doing? You know what I mean? I like to really try to teach, try to give a presentation every time, as opposed to like just jumping on the treadmill and say, hey guys, I'm on the treadmill. How you doing today? I may start doing more and more of that. Plus my eyes are not great. I mean, with the glasses, I think I have to start wearing my contacts when I do things like that. But I will start going live more and more on Instagram. I know the guys that you follow, Chris, too. They go live like 2-3 times a day. I may start doing that. I can't wait till this Ecamm Live software is able to let me go live on Instagram. It has the capabilities, but for some reason on Instagram, my account is not approved yet. I think I'm about 17,000, 18,000 subscribers. I think maybe when I get to 20,000, I'll have the capability of pulling slides into the Instagram, which will be great. But I will definitely do that, Chris, for sure. Start going live more on Instagram. That's great. Okay, so let's see. Just a 2-minute live on your walks. I really encourage. Oh, really? Okay. I never thought of doing that. I'll start doing that. You know what? Maybe I'll get one of those selfie sticks. I don't even have one of those, because that would be great. Then I wouldn't mind talking to people along the walk. That's a great thing to do. I like that, Chris. I'll try that for sure. Definitely. Okay. Hey, Alexandra, another super chat from Alexandra. This is great. Really cool. Thanks. Okay. This we got. Okay. I will butcher the explanation, but she says that about 30 grams of protein a meal is minimal threshold for a certain type of protein absorption. Okay, that's interesting. So she's trying to say that you really need at least 30 grams or more. I think she's talking about those branched chain aminos, like the leucine, the I can't believe I can't think of the other two branched chains. I don't know what's going on with me. That's interesting. I know I've heard other people say that too, that you want a minimum of 30. I've even heard her say, she really would like people to take in. She uses the term like, I might even say 50, so that's interesting. So she said to really absorb it and really get the benefits of the protein, you want 30 grams or more. I'm going to look to see if she has a book, and I would love to read her book, but I've seen her on a number of different podcasts, and I always love everything she says. And she's in great shape. She's a mom, and she works really hard, super smart. And she does some Instagram stuff with herself working out and everything, so she's great. She's in top shape woman. She was super smart. And I may have showed this last week. I'm not sure if this, but I did a video on this that's doing really, really well. I know, it's interesting. I'm starting to realize now that I didn't think the visual aspect of these things meant something. But when people see watermelon, people love watermelon. So, So I had some. I don't think that's salmon. That's actually Arctic chard. That's another one we have a lot too. Like Victoria, we have Arctic chard a lot, or sometimes trout, which looks like salmon, but it's really trout. And we've been eating a lot of cauliflower lately. I love cauliflower, and we season that up. Same thing with the curry or Cajun spices. Same thing, my arugula with avocado and then some watermelon. And like I always say, watermelon's high in L-citrulline, which helps the body make arginine, which in turn helps the body make nitric oxide. So the older I get, I really try to eat foods that increase nitric oxide. Great for blood flow. It's just, it's a cornerstone of my diet too. Chris Davis, Keon Aminos has a great sale right now too, Mike. Just want to pass. Oh, that's good. I'm going to get some. I didn't know. I haven't been doing that because I was doing that brand. I know Jeff was taking it too. It was so cheap. I've done the Keon Aminos, which I like, but it's so expensive. It's like $50 a container. So I will check that out. And I like Ben Greenfeld. I like all the stuff that he puts out too. It's let me see, leucine. I think leucine, isoleucine, and valine. I think those are the 3 branch chain. I think it just came to me. I think that's all I pulled in there when it came to let me see. Oh no, I want to talk about this too. I did sushi one day this week, and you know my story with this. When I do sushi, this is such a treat for me. I do the resistant starch sushi, meaning that you've heard me talk about this. All the regulars here is that whenever I have sushi, I buy it the day before, because when you refrigerate white rice, it becomes more of a resistant starch, meaning that it almost becomes more fiber-like. Well, let's say there's 200 calories in that white rice. When you refrigerate it, your body is not going to digest all those calories. It becomes more like fiber. So it reduces the blood sugar, the insulin spike, and the amount of calories. So whenever I have sushi, which I love, I just buy it the day before, refrigerate it, and I ate it. And this is like just a really fun, meal for me. I love it. And also what will slow down the spike is that you're taking in fat from the salmon. I always add an avocado to it because I want 15, 16, 17 grams of fiber. This is a fun little cheat meal. This is something that you could do on a 5-2 diet, just like this is the only thing you eat on the 5-2 diet. This is probably, how many calories is this? I bet this is about 500 calories, maybe more. An avocado could be 350. This is probably more. This is probably 600 calories, but with the resistant starch, probably brings it down a little bit to maybe 500. This is a nice 500 calorie small meal you can have. Let's see. Please look it up, Mike. She often talks about it, and I think it's an important topic. I totally agree. I'll do a video on it too. I'd love to get her see, these are all the things. Once I start getting a little bit more of a following on YouTube, you need like 100,000 followers on YouTube before you're really a real player. I can have someone like her. I'd love to interview her. I have a podcast too that I have it's called Fitness Contrarian, but I haven't been doing the podcast. But I want to start doing that and really get that going one day. And I'd love to interview people like her and all these people that I always talk about. It would be like really incredible. But I'm going to look into her stuff more. I went to her website a couple of times and looked at it. But maybe when I take my walk today, I'll listen to her on a podcast too. Okay. All right, so let's go. Okay, that's good. So we're going almost an hour. All right, any other questions before I hit the road and take my walk? Let's see. Anything just in general? But I know there's like a minute delay, so I want to give everyone enough time. And I also Chris and Alexandra, I really appreciate their super chats. And I'll let everyone know I'm working so hard on this new coaching program. I didn't realize it, but it's interesting. The program that I'm going to be using to show the exercises, I wasn't too crazy about. It comes with a library of like 1,000 exercises. Some are good, but a lot of them I don't like the technique. So now me and my son, and he's home this summer, I'm going to film like 200 exercises with proper form and all that. So that's been taking me a ton of time. Let's see. Thanks, Alicia. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. You're going to do great. Thanks. Thanks for showing up. How you doing? I really appreciate it. All right, guys. I'll give you one more minute, then I'm going to hit the road. Any other last questions before I go? And also, join me today. Take a walk. Get outside Sunday, right? I wish I'm going to order a selfie stick today on Amazon, Chris, too, because I'll start doing that during my walks. Sometimes I do those things in the car. I feel like I shouldn't be driving, but I have the phone. Yeah, I have the phone attached to the dashboard with a clip, so it's not too bad. Will you be able to join this new? Well, yes, Chris, definitely. It's it's going to be pretty. Not that you can't afford it, Chris. You probably could. It's gonna be somewhat expensive, though. I have to say. I'm gonna try to do like high-end coaching, like these 12-week coaching programs, but it's gonna be all inclusive. It's gonna like help. I'm gonna talk to like whoever joins. I'm only gonna maybe take on 10 people. I'm gonna niche it down to maybe people over 40, something like that. And how it's gonna work is I'm gonna design an exercise and obviously diet program, everything, tell you exactly what to eat, shopping lists, exercise with all the videos, all that stuff like that. And then every single day you're gonna check in, and it's an app that you use, you know, and then I'm gonna look at it and I'll leave you like a voice message on your phone saying, okay, you did this, I like this, I like that. What happened? You didn't sleep last night? Let's do that. You know, so you're gonna get a message from me every single day. Then if you need a Zoom call, whatever you need a call, I'm gonna do that for you. And then at the end of the week, we're gonna do like a week synopsis, and I'll critique your whole week. And then I'm gonna do these live Zoom calls with everyone in the group once a week, and that's going to be the general setup for it. So it's going to be like just you have to. I know you're ready, because you got to really be ready for this coaching program, because I'm going to be all over you. There's no way you're not going to do well, because I'm going to be on you to do all the things I want to do. And I'm so I got to get going. I started doing these 30 days to optimal health. I only did like 6 videos. I have a whole bunch of other videos I just have to edit. It's going to be a little bit like that, but this coaching program is going to be really, if you do it, you're going to do well. I'm not going to not let you do well, but it's going to be expensive, unfortunately. I don't mind paying the best price that you can work on it yourself. Now, I appreciate it, Chris. I'll let you know for sure. It's going to take me still a few more weeks. I just want to, what's holding me up is the videos, and then, that whole, doing the sales pages and, they call them funnels, to getting that whole thing done is going to be a little bit of a project too. Because I never really marketed my, my online, cause I do one online coaching. I have a 1 month class. I never really marketed it properly. So that's all the stuff that I'm working with these guys with. Let's see, Alexander. Not sure I want you with too much followers. That would mean less. Yeah, I know, exactly. I know. That's just how it is. But I'll never let, I really appreciate all the regulars who keep on showing up. So no matter what, we'll get something going that's kind of like this. Whether it's just like a small, I can do like a small group type thing. Even though, what's funny, some people charge as little as $5 to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then they're the only people who get to go to on these lives. You'd be surprised that just that $5 stops like 95% of the people from doing it. So I can do something like that, it may be a little bit more than $5, but do something very affordable that you pay every month. And then it'll be just like this still. I bet more than, it'll just be 20, 30 people or something like that. And it'll be like really private. It'll be like very, very affordable. Like instead of you giving me the super chats, Alexander, you know what I mean? You pay a little bit every month, and then it'll still be small like this. So I may do something like that too. This is Jeff. I might have to bite the bullet and do the coaching thing to prioritize my health. I've been letting stress get me lately. I hear you with the stress, Jeff. I know. I know it's really interesting. I have to say, the pandemic, I still feel like this post-traumatic stress, just that vibe in general out there from the pandemic. It's kind of like my parents, they're a little bit older. They're still very concerned. Whatever. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just a stressful time. It's just stressful. All right, guys, I'm gonna hit the road. I really appreciate it once again. I'm looking forward to see everyone next week, and look for my lives. I'm gonna start doing what Chris says. I'm gonna start going live a lot more on Instagram. I'll do these short little bursts of live. So follow me on Instagram. Once again, if give me the thumbs up for this video, share this video with anyone. Share anything I do that you guys like and gals like. Try to share it to to spread the word. And don't worry, Alexander, or anyone. Don't feel like you shouldn't share because I'll get too big. I'm always going to do something like this, and I'll make it very affordable, for these group type things, these live streams for sure. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful weekend, and take a walk today before it gets too late, especially 4th of July. 4th of July, we're going to all be overeating and all that. That's a great day to do like an OMAD, like a 3-hour OMAD. Fast in the morning, walk in the morning, then you get to enjoy 4th of July, eat whatever you want for like 2-3 hours. All right, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day.